Hey, what's up, gamers? This is a video response to ballinnick1982 for a video labeled Resurrected RPGs. RPGs are probably my favorite type of genre. I just want to make sure that I throw out some RPGs that aren't really well known these days, but they were great back in the time that they released, and they need some sort of resurrection to them. So here they are. The first game I'm going to start off with is called Ogre Battle. It was a game produced by Atlas, and it used a tactical battle system. Um, this was the first time I remember seeing the tactical battle system because I haven't seen Final Fantasy Tactics at the time. It was originally released in '93, but they ported it over to the PlayStation 1 in 1997, and a couple years later, in 1999, they brought it to the N64. But it wasn't the same game as the 1997 release for the PS1. It was a completely different game. But I just remember, I never played it myself. I just remember it being very highly rated. And one of the first few games I remember seeing with the tactical system, like I said earlier. But I remember seeing it in Tips and Tricks magazine, and I never found a copy anywhere near where I lived for the PS1 or the N64, but I remember getting rave reviews. So if you've never seen that game or never heard of it, you may want to check that out. The second game I'm going to talk about is Jade Cocoon. Now, I never owned this one, but I did rent it, and to be honest, I can't remember too much about it storyline wise. The main thing I remember is very Pokemon like, but to me, I didn't know what Pokemon was back at this time, so it was a fresh concept for me. You basically get these bug creatures called minions, and you use them to protect the main character and fight these other creatures. I never really got far into the game, but I remember it being really good, and actually a lot of the magazines back then, like your Tips and Tricks, Next Generation, they actually gave it a pretty good review. And it actually did spawn a sequel in, I believe it was 2000. It was Jade Cocoon 2, but I never got a chance to play that title. Alrighty, third on my list of RPGs that need to be resurrected is going to be Parasite Eve. It was basically an RPG with Resident Evil style combat, and it was epic. It was basically the best of both worlds when you mix a Resident Evil type game with RPG elements. And it was actually produced by Square. And Square was known for making great RPGs at the time. People beg to differ now, but I haven't played a Square game in forever, so I can't really say much on that. But the game itself is amazing. It produced a sequel which was just labeled Parasite Eve 2. I never got a chance to play that, unfortunately, and I never really got a chance to finish the first Parasite Eve. But I remember reading it in the magazines and finding out about it. I knew I had to get it if I liked Resident Evil and RPGs. It was just the best of both worlds. From the opening scene in the opera house throughout the game, just the combat flowed really well. The story was good. I can't really remember much about it. I haven't played it, like I said. Last time I played it was around when I got it, about 10 years ago. But I feel like that's one game that should be reproduced with like a prequel or sequel. I'm not really sure which. Parasite Eve 2. I'm not sure if 2 was a sequel or if it was a prequel. But I feel like some sort of game involving Parasite Eve should come out just because that game was epic. Alright, and the last game I'm going to talk about is a game I don't think I've heard any gamers on YouTube talk about. It was a game I remember renting about 10 times, and I never beat the game, but I remember getting to the middle or so, if even that. I just remember the combat being very good, the story being really good for the time, and it was one of the first RPGs I found out about after Final Fantasy VII, which was the first RPG I ever knew existed. And it was a game called Guardians Crusade. Basically, the main character is a knight who finds this creature. I believe the creature falls from a stork, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But he basically finds it, and I believe the name of the creature was Baby. And basically, the whole story, he goes through and tries to find where this creature is supposed to go, who it belongs to. And I just remember there were cutscenes in it that were really nice videos for the time. And there were also these toys you could find in the game that would help you in battle as part of your party. So that was a cool feature, because the only main two characters I remember were the creature itself and the knight. And this game, last time I played it was probably 10 or 12 years ago, but I just remember it being one game that really stuck out in my mind, but I've never heard anybody talk about, never seen anything about it since I played it about 12 years ago. And I'd really like to see it brought back somehow, either as a remake on a current gen console, bring it back on like an Xbox Live Arcade. I would just like to see something done with this game, because I feel it was really good for the time, but it was very it went under the radar. No one really saw it, I don't think. But thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for putting up the video, ballinnick1982. It's a great topic, and everybody, take care.